My name is Gabrielle Lenhardt, and this is Journal Entry 3 for Substance Abuse and Addiction Counseling. I interviewed a very lovely gal and asked her about her history with substance use and abuse. And I asked her, I said, "So, what was your drug of choice?" She shared with me that it was alcohol, not so much beer and wine, but hard liquor. So she was really drawn towards a variety of cocktails. And I asked her, okay, so that's your preferred substance. What makes that the preferred substance for you? And she shared that she struggles with general anxiety and particularly social anxiety. And so she liked the way that alcohol took away all of that anxiety. She finally felt socially competent at parties. She was relaxed and carefree after drinking. Alcohol made her feel like she was the life of the party. Initially, so she started in college, really. She didn't grow up drinking it in high school, but once she went to college, she was scared that it would make her feel out of control and do things that she would regret. However, she learned that after two, three, or four drinks, she could remain in control and become the person that she liked being. She realized that she actually felt more out of control when she was experiencing the anxiety. She experienced distress as well because she couldn't seem to find that type of relief that only alcohol provided. But additionally, that brought on guilt because she did believe in God and she wanted to find anxiety relief from Him. However, alcohol was the quick and easy fix for her during times of stress. So the next question I asked her was, what interaction effects have you noticed when taking more than one drug or substance or drinking alcohol at the same time? And she shared with me that she has never experienced more than one drug at the same time. This was not a consideration for her to mix drugs with alcohol. Alcohol was the only option in this individual's mind. It was truly their only desired substance. I asked her if she had spiritual beliefs that assisted in her recovery from reliance on alcohol. She says yes, she believes in Jesus Christ and her beliefs align with that of the Christian faith. What she didn't realize is how deeply ingrained some harmful theology was affecting her. So she viewed God as a harsh and judgmental, angry father who was waiting for her to figure it out, which is what drew her to the alcohol's quick fix. But when she did have a mentor, and the mentor started to open her eyes to the loving, compassionate, and forgiving father who is the real father, and she began to rely on him more. She started to rely on him for strength and grace and to meet her deepest needs. She no longer felt shame and eagerly approached God with things on her heart. She realized that recovering from over-reliance on alcohol was so much more than not drinking as much. It was about becoming a healthier version of herself. For me, as the counselor in this interview, this was powerful to hear, and it reminds me of the biopsychosocial and spiritual approach. When we are treating a client, we are considering every aspect of them. For the gal that I interviewed, a large part of her healing journey, including addressing dysfunctional spiritual beliefs. When her mentor helped her to refine her spiritual beliefs, it helped her entire well-being reach a healthier state. And in this case, it was invaluable to include the spiritual component. Treatment must be creative and flexible. It is structured yet open to feedback. This is from Clinton and Hawkins, 2011. I then developed three more additional questions to ask her in our interview. I looked through the 12 steps and I asked her, which of the 12 steps did you find to be the most helpful when recovering from alcohol? Since this person did not have several regrets when they were drinking, they found step 11 to be the most helpful. Step 11 includes seeking God through prayer and meditation, improving your conscious contact with Him for knowledge of His will and the strength to carry it out. This is Miller, 2014. This answer was helpful because I realized how each individual client is very unique. And maybe most, but not all clients will resonate with all 12 steps found in AA. And it's important for me as the counselor to be knowledgeable about additional support groups such as Celebrate Recovery, which is founded in the Christian churches and the Christian faith, and to always personalize individual counseling for my clients. Even if they do not align with a particular self-help group, the support and the community provided by one can be life-changing in a positive way on its own. The second question that I asked her, which she had previously sort of alluded to before, is, did you have a mentor that helped you through recovery? She had some counseling, but it was particularly this mentor. Yes, one woman in her recovery that showed her and lived out grace and the love of Jesus in a new and deeper way in her life. It brought her back to her faith, but uprooted bad theology that she had originally believed. And she believed that this one person, this one mentor that God sent her, made all the difference in her well-being. This reminds me of the power of the counseling profession. When we create a strong therapeutic alliance with the client, we have the potential to make a huge positive impact in their life. A past counselor that I saw, his name was Sam Lample out of Arizona, shared with me that when we make a positive influence in one person's life, we can positively impact their entire sphere of influence. For example, if I counsel a mom of young children and help her improve her life, her children's lives will benefit from having a healthier mother. So we're never just helping one person, but all those people in that person's life. In AA, interactive support is highly important for its members. They have noticed that they will often have women mentoring other women in AA and men mentoring other men. And this was to decrease the chance of sexual complications. And this is out of Miller 2014. Now, the last question that I asked this gal in our interview was, what skills helped you the most in recovery? And I loved her answer. She says, learning how to regulate my emotions and experience the anxiety that was so debilitating. So this, on top of uprooting dysfunctional and faulty theology, changing that to healthy theology, and then experiencing that anxiety. It was never about healing from the anxiety. It was about healing with the anxiety, is what she shared with me. She learned that pushing it away only made it stronger. She came to accept each emotion that she felt, and she noticed they started to have less power over her. She learned how to live out her values regardless of uncomfortable emotions that she was experiencing. She learned that anxiety was not dangerous. It was a safe emotion to experience, and she started to believe, when it came on, okay, I can handle this feeling. This is a very similar concept described in acceptance and commitment therapy, which is a third wave cognitive behavior therapy, known as ACT. Experiential avoidance is addressed. Experiential avoidance is the unwillingness to remain in uncomfortable states. The individual will avoid or escape thoughts, feelings, and sensations that make them uncomfortable. For example, avoidance could look like drinking alcohol, such as the gal I interviewed did, which provides short-term relief, but in the long run, avoidance leads to increased distress because you are not learning healthy coping skills that go with effectively handling anxiety. When the interviewee described the skills that helped her the most in recovery, she was describing increased psychological flexibility. Psychological flexibility includes skills that help an individual stay present in the moment and taking a broad perspective on thoughts and feelings. And they are keeping focused on their values. The individual is committed to acting in a way that aligns with their beliefs and values. They are willing to experience distress and they are separating themselves from their thoughts. This is known as cognitive diffusion. In this interview, I learned that invaluable skills that ACT can help in regards to helping people experience their emotions and not resort to unhealthy coping mechanisms, leading to longer well-being, increased psychological flexibility, and more. This article that I looked up to describe ACT in the end was from Dindo et al., 2017. The references that I use will be provided in a comment below on the video. There was one scholarly article and Learning the Language of Addiction Counseling by Miller, 2014, along with Clinton and Hawkins, 2011, the Popular Encyclopedia of Christian Counseling, an indispensable tool for helping people with their problems. Thank you.